the books. Is there anybody viewers should expect to see maybe more of from Abaddon's Gate than they would normally?
Well, I mean, Drummer, who we brought in season 2, who doesn't actually appear until the 5th book of the series, has a lot of story arc in the 3rd season, played by Kara G, who we all loved as an actress and wanted to use more. So she does that more.
Yeah, that would be the standout for this season. And she ended up kind of, sort of took some aspects of, I don't know, more than one character.
Yeah.
Just sort of looking for a representative of the real belter, the rock hopper, you know, it's one of those things where you cast someone and then they're just so fun to watch and so interesting. And we're like, oh, it's just, you know, you start to like do more than even you were expecting. So she's got a really cool arc this season. I think everyone will be totally excited by that arc. It's awesome. Franck, hype into it.
He's such a Belter lover. He always wants the Belters to win.
Yeah. I don't know. That's to me, the book series is about the Belters. Really, it's the other guys are these, you know, the rising imperialist empire, the falling imperialist empire. But the Belters are it's the most interesting, and also the way I thought it was the coolest. They're literally like a new form of humanity because of physically. We've never had people living in space for that length, and so an entire new branch of the human tree kind of opens up because of not genetically in the first whatever, but people physically change because of where they work and because their environment changes. And I thought that was like kind of awesome. I mean, the idea that and the fact that they're this culture of, it's like you guys said, like the fishing villages where there's thousands of cultural influences all blending together into something not quite any. It's so undefinable. It's so multivariate, and that I think is odd. That's why the Belters are the coolest. The others are like empires, and we know that story and how that goes.
I think there's things to admire and dislike about all of them.
Yeah.
Who do you align with?
Who do I like?
Yeah, who do you?
Earth, Mars?
I'd be one of those guys on like a tramp steamer. I'd be on the Canterbury. I have the wanderlust. I would get bored living in one place. I would need to be flying around. There's pieces of Alex that are definitely pulled from my wanderlust, where he can't stay home. He has to sign up with another ship and go out again. A bum. Yeah, pretty much a bum.
There are moments in the show that feel so politically relevant to specific situations that are happening in our real world, but they were written before those moments happen. Like, are you ever surprised when like something happens in real life and you realize that there's like
we get credit for being on current topics that actually isn't true. The first book everybody said, oh, they're writing about WikiLeaks, they're writing about releasing information. The first book was actually written before the WikiLeaks thing happened. I think what actually happens is Daniel and I, my co-writer, we're both big students of history. We like to pull from history, and humans just keep making the same idiot mistakes over and over and over again. So if you pull, we'll write something that's pulled from like the Babylonian conquest by Persia and some element of that and put it in there. Oh, they're talking about Trump.
Yeah.
It's just like totally about Trump, but it's just we've made 5,000 years ago we made the same stupid mistake we just made.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just we're just it's all looking backwards and going, yep, there we go again. So it seems relevant, but only because the wheel endlessly turns. And that's one of the points of the books is there any way out of the perpetual cycle of stupidity that we seem to have mastered?
is there hope for us?
Well, I like the people who say that the Expanse is a hopeful sci-fi because humans still exist in 300 years. So that's very hopeful that they're still there. They still have problems, but they're not over.
So in the books, it gets very technical about the ship's movements and all the science that goes into that, and our own movements in space. So how hard do you guys work to bring that into the show itself?
Well, I mean, on the writing side,
Well, these guys sweat the details. The scientists in the room who really we try to make it dramatic and fascinating in a way, because most shows skip over the grungy details of things because they seem uninteresting, and we actually find them way more interesting to not only show them, but to highlight them and make a big deal out of all these little, braking maneuvers, distances, which way gravity, how gravity operates under thrust or arrest. I mean, all that shit is really fun. It's fun to watch, and everybody else kind of blew it off, thinking it's way more cool to have gizmos that solve all that, and we're kind of going the opposite way. So I'm always a sucker for whatever tells the story in a fascinating way. But then, luckily these guys will really work out how that is real and how make it most real. The more realistic it is, the more people connect to it, I think. I mean, if they know it's not bullshit, they're really excited about the reality.
well, it makes the peril feel real. When things, when everything is solved by, thank God we invented the whatever gizmo, it doesn't feel perilous. But when just turning your ship around and putting the brakes on can kill you, suddenly everything feels more dangerous, more perilous, and it's just more dramatic.
Unless you say, "Oh, the gizmo broke. What are we gonna do?"
What are you gonna do?
Thank you guys.